Hello, hello. Hi, Joy. How are you? Says Joy's watching. Hello, hello. There's someone else watching. I see the number went up, but it doesn't tell me who joined. But I'm glad you're here. So you're eating bacon? Yum. I'm drinking Big Red. Does that count? It's very yummy. My husband said when I was done, he would just give me a cup of sugar, and that would be the same thing. He's probably right, but it sure is yummy. I'm thinking that we're gonna, so I don't know how many people saw, hi Rinska, I don't know that the perfect thing to wash it down, yum. So I don't know if you guys saw the video where Jamie made me this amazing box to hold my cards. I already put all my cards in it. Isn't that just the cutest? I already put my pre-made cards in there, so I have some of our previous stamp sets stamped in there. They're not colored, but I kind of like them like that. So I have a few in there that I was going to put some information on. I did make this one a while back. And then, you know, notes for my friends. I haven't really filled in a whole lot yet, but I want to now get it together since Jamie made it for me. It's got our little color all the things on there. I stamped them thinking it didn't really matter if it had, you know, any color on it. I would worry about the color later when it was relevant for me. This was one of the first stamp sets I colored. That was some different color inks. And then there's a bunch of blank cards in the back. So I have these really cool monthly ones that I really, really want to use. So I decided that tonight, since I have this sweet, awesome box that Jamie made me, I decided tonight we should use our little Rudolph that we colored last night, and we should do the December. In addition to that, I didn't think it would take very long because it is such a little card that I decided after we get done creating this one, which shouldn't take us too awful long, I would do one for October with you guys. So I pulled out some stamps to stamp, and this is from the Magic Potions, that we just got back in stock recently. So if you just love these, you can use them for so many things. Hi Angela and Cheryl and Amanda. Oh, thank you so much for joining me. So I thought that I would, I love these, of course. I think they're perfect for Halloween, but they're also really good for like perfume bottles or just anything you want. And I don't know if you guys knew, but the really cool part is that each one of these inside are individual stamps. So you can stamp this bottle and you don't have to have, see, it's just the bottle. You don't have to have all the little stamps in it, which I think is super cool. I love the way that that came out. It worked perfectly. And the same with this one down here that says seek magic every day. The sentiment is separate from the bottle because I've already put the bottle on the mat. So I thought, what better than to use some potion bottles, make them potion bottles, magic potion bottles, for October. So I thought we'd color those tonight and make the October. So December and October is what I was thinking for tonight. And that would give us some, a lot of different fun stuff to do. So I'm back to my Rudolph stamp set, which is this one. We did the little reindeer last night, and before I went live, I cut all my dies apart, and I put this on there, and I did cut it on my Gemini. So this is how he cuts out. I had to cut the dies apart, but I did do it with my, I did not fussy cut it, which I usually do, but, or I have Jamie fussy cut, which she did it the last time. But I wanted to use the little Christmas tree that came in the set. So I put it on this little block because I wanted to put the potion bottles in my Misty because I want to stamp those a little bit later. But I want to put these on here. I got to thinking if I stick them on there, I can't color them with the distress ink, which is what I want to do. So I had originally bought I had originally done masks for these, but I don't think, now that I'm thinking about it, that we're actually going to do that. I think what we're going to do is we're going to stamp a few of these. I would like to have 3 little trees in the background, so I'm just going to stamp 3 of them. Hopefully. I usually use my Misty, so I'm not very good with it if I'm not. So I'm going to stamp 4 just in case, because that one was really, really light. Right there. And I want it to be darker. I'm going to stamp 4. Probably won't use that one, but maybe. You never know. Hello, Michelle. So Michelle, I think it was you that had a few questions today on some of the feed that we had some of the conversations we had going on in the group. And I'm pretty sure you're not the only one who was curious. So while we're working today, I'm going to share some information with you on that. So in the feed, we were talking about the Copic box that holds all of the Copic markers. I think Adele is the one who said that she got one, but she hasn't gotten it yet. And you were wondering if the marker caps get stuck and then you have to take it apart. Now, because the screen is so close, you can't really see it real well, but it is this wooden insert that's inside my Copic box. So that's what we're talking about. You can buy the insert or you can buy the insert with the box. Either way you want to buy it, it's open to you. But Adele bought just the insert. And then I put a link out there so she could go get the box that the insert fits in. And the question was, when you put the Magic Potion, Angela, do Magic Potion. It should come up under Magic Potion, not Potion Bottles. It should be out there because we sold them at the show this weekend. Dale, can you look that up for me, please? I'll have Dale double check, but I think you have to look under Magic Potion, not Potion Bottles. I call them Potion Bottles. I do not know why. I can't seem to get the name right, but they are called Magic Potions, I think. Anyway, I've had that box for many years, and I have never once had a marker cap come off when I pulled it out of the case. So the answer to your question is no, I don't have that problem at all. Okay, so what I want to do is color these trees, but I wanted to do it kind of fast. There you go. Thank you, Joy. That's it. Okay, so what I wanted to do was color these trees. So what better color than pine needles? I thought that was appropriate. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this solid color on here. All across here. Now it's going to be a little bit different. And I don't know if I'll use this tree or not because it didn't stamp the way I wanted it to. but I probably should have Copic colored the stem of this, but I will definitely use something to make that brown. But I'm going to go ahead and make these trees, and I don't care if they're all one solid color or if they have splotches on them, because, I mean, they're pine trees, so whatevs, however it works out. I will have to cut these out, though, but we can use the dies, so I can have Dale do it for me. It would be so sweet of him. If you guys could have seen that look I just got from him. Hi, Lily. You'd be laughing right now. Okay, so I like to do this stuff on my glass mat because I can just spritz it with water and wipe it off, and we're all good. Okay, so the trees don't take very long to cut out, so I guess I could fussy cut them, but I didn't really want to, but I guess I can. You want a Dale? He did shake his head no. He did not want to cut. But, and I don't know if you're supposed to color over these or not, but I'm doing it anyway. I hope it doesn't mess up my marker. Hello, Lily, and hello, Michelle, and yes, Dale's saying hello to you guys. Okay. So I'm just using a little bit over top of here. I do, because I'm not used to doing this over oxides, I'm just going to wipe the marker off a bit in case it picked up any residue. And then I think we're good. Okay. I also want to do I wanted to do some oxiding on this as well. So I chose tumbled glass because I really like how very light colored it is. Dale's very helpful to me, yes. You guys know. So I'm going to just go on here. I want to kind of do a bit of the sky around where the deer's going to be. This is a very light blue, and I think that it's possible that I need to put more ink on it, like it's running out of ink or something, because either it's really, really light or it's really, really tired. Not sure exactly which one that is. So I want it to be a little bit darker at the top. I want it to stay kind of light at the bottom because I want it to appear like snow. Wait for what, honey? He said wait. I don't know if that means wait, stop coloring, wait you're coloring, or what. Okay. So we have just a little bit. I don't want it to be like really dark blue, so I just kind of did it light. And then I am going to try to do the edges just a little bit darker, I think.
Oh, I was going to say, you could put this over the white so you can have the contrast. So it looks like snow.
Oh, he made me a template. Wasn't that sweet? Like this, babe?
Yeah.
He made me a template. So I could get a darker line over where the sky was and lighter where the snow was. Which is super great because I have a way to resemble snow here in a minute. He's such a help for me. So we
What does it say at the top of the card?
Huh?
What does it say at the top of the card?
It says December. December. It's gonna go in my little memory decks box. But I have all these blank ones, and I want to use these monthly ones because I think they're super neat. So this one actually says December. Oh, that does look just like snow. Way to go, honey.
Yeah, YouTube videos.
Told you I needed Dale. Right? I am going to use a little napkin to wipe over where the December is, just to kind of clean off. It's almost like a resist because it's foil. So I wiped it off so it would shine again. And then I'm going to wipe off my desk again. Just spurts once with the water and wipe it off. Okay. So then I want to put these little trees on there, so I'm going to cut them out. Can we die cut these? Will you help me? Will you give me the plates and I'll put the little die on there? And that way we can run it through while I'm talking about something else and won't waste time watching me fussy cut, because who wants to do that? Okay. All right, so Dale's ready for me to put this on there. Okay, so we got to cut at least 3, because 3 is the number of them that I wanted to do.
What do you put in a memory box?
It's like a memory dex, like a Rolodex, and what I want to do is I want to put my Christmas card list, like who I'm gonna mail stuff to, and hi Cam. I want to put my Christmas card list and then shopping list and things like that. I'll write them on the little index cards and then stick them in there. But sometimes it's notes or birthday reminders. Usually,
Don't look like a cut. Does this
you don't have. You need the other mat underneath that, honey. The plastic one, the one that's all weird shaped. Yeah, that's the one. So that's what I want to do. What I normally do is I mail cards under each month what the birthdays are. And I do them at the beginning of every month. I pull my planner and I go through and I get all the cards ready and I mail them out at the beginning of the month for everybody who has a birthday that month. And I want to use my Rolodex to make like a card for each person's name, so I don't have to every year go back and rewrite my list in January for who I need in January, who I need in February. I want to just be able to do it all at one time. So I thought I would use it for that. You put little projects just for you and yours, and you never get to keep what you make otherwise. Oh, that's a really good idea, Joy. Yeah, so I only made one memory dex ever, which was this one. And it says, sometimes to get what you want, you must raise a stink. And I thought it was perfect for me. It had my Gerber daisies that I drew in the Oops a Daisy stamp set, and the skunk I thought was perfect. And I didn't want to give it away. So I agree. I could do some, look at Dale helping me out. I could do some things that I wanted to keep and put them in the memory decks. It can show off different things that, you know, people gave you or different things that you want to do, but I wanted to decorate the months. It's new to me. The memory decks is new to me, so I don't know exactly what I'll put in it. But I thought at least if I was going to get started, I could start on the dividers between the months. I know Jamie puts all of her color cards, her swatch color cards that we have in the shop, and I haven't cut mine out yet. I have one more Sugar Bear. I have one more to cut, and the tape is over it, so I gotta get more tape. Hold on. So in a minute I'll show you what they look like. I have a few of them done already. Well, quite a few of them done. I think I'm only missing a sheet or two that haven't been colored yet. But I'm thinking I'm gonna put my color combos in there, which would be really great for you guys too. But I have the images already colored. I haven't cut them for the memory decks yet because I hadn't really used it yet. But Jamie uses hers for that, and I wanted to use mine for that as well. So here, all of mine are in this one pack. So every one that's in here is a colored one. Show you. This is how I have them stored now. This is not really a great thing, but so all of them in there with the colored. So some of them are colored like that. and some of them are not. So some of them I did and some of them I didn't. But I want to cut them out and put them in my memory decks so that if I want to go to, you know, I'll probably do red, green, yellow, blue, whatever. So if I want a color combo that looks like that, I can go to that tab and I can pick a color combo if my mind is escaping me and I can't choose one, then I can just choose one that we have in our album. So I thought that was a good idea, but I can use the plain, the brownish. Yay, all my trees are cut. I can use the brown tabs for the colors and then these tabs for the birthdays. The box is big enough, it will hold a lot. Look how much it will hold. So I figure I can do lots of different things with my memory decks. But maybe we'll build it together. Every now and then I'll pop in and say, let's do this for the memory decks. But my original thought was to put these trees. Like, that one kind of got messed up, so I'll put it behind. And then we got one over here. I wanted to put one over here. Maybe I'll let it hang off the edge. That would be kind of neat. And maybe I'll put one back here. Now I might as well use him since I cut him out. Or since Dale cut him out. But the little deer will cover some of them. Where did I get the box? Jamie made the box for me on a live video. I don't know if you guys, if very many of you saw it, but Jamie made it for me. She made the little flower in a live and she put it on here because I love Gerber daisies and it's pink. But she actually made it with the dowel and the box, and then she put these the soft sides of Velcro dots on the bottom so it sits smooth on my table. But she showed how to make it from beginning to end in a video, so you could watch her video, like her you could go back and watch it on YouTube or watch it on in the group. Just search for the videos that Jamie does. But yes, you can see it on YouTube. She made it for me, and she said it was super simple, so I'll let you guys who watched it speak for that on how simple it was, because I didn't make it, so I don't know. But she made it for me. She brought it when she came down, and I really wanted to use it. So that's what we're doing tonight, is we're going to use this. So I want them to be like this. So we're going to use our Barely Art glue. It is really neat. I love it so much. I love it. When she brought it, I was so excited. I mean, I kind of knew because I saw a little bit of the video. I kind of knew that she was making it, but I didn't really know what it was truly going to look like until I saw it. And it is amazing. I really love it. So I want to put this on there, but I don't want to put it too far into the snow. I'm going to use my... I want to move this a little bit. It's a little bit crooked. So I'm going to press it with my espresso. Heidi Swap has a cute one in white. Simple, but we'll only make it for a special person for sure. Yeah, I know it's not that easy, but yeah, definitely. I don't know how to make it, but I think my mom wants one. She was talking about wanting one. I think she told Jamie she wanted one, so I don't know if Jamie will make her one or if I will, or if we'll make her make one.
Buy those instead of making it?
Can you buy them instead of making them? Well, I think you could probably buy them in some form. I know that I had one that I didn't use. It was this one. I had this one, but every time I put stuff on here, it just all hung upside down because I didn't have very many in it, and I wasn't a huge fan of that, and I didn't have enough stuff to fill it up. So so Jamie said, you should have one like mine, and I was like, all right, bring it on. I didn't know she meant she was gonna make me one, but yeah, you can, the way she made it, you can decorate it with whatever paper you want or whatever design you want. It's neat. So you can do it however you want. I am going to have to use the heat tool tonight, and I'll show you why in a few minutes. I'm going to try to follow this little hill, except for this one that's going to be way back already. But we'll put some snow around it, so it'll be okay. Okay, so I have this stuff I've never used. I'll hold it up close so you can see. It's called Snowfall Accents Puff Paint. I've never used it before. It's brand new. I found it in my drawer and was like, hey, I should try that. So I did find some instructions that says shake well before using, applying a thin line, and then heat with the heat tool to puff the paint. I don't really know what that means, but we're going to try it tonight and see if it works. So I have my heat tool pretty close, but it won't reach underneath the camera, so I'll have to take it away from the screen when it's time. Oh, I might not be able to open this. I might need Dale again. Can you open that for me, please? I never used it. It shouldn't be stuck. Okay. So I opened it up. I hope it comes out. Let's try it. Yep. Oh, it comes out all right. It's not a problem with that.
You should do a test line and heat it up.
Nope. I'm going to do it right on here. He says I should do a test line. I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to put some around here. It says a thin line, but we're just going to try it and see what happens. And then I'm going to do some, just a little, in here so that it shows a little bit of white snow in here. Kind of what I want. I don't know how well that'll work, but we're about to find out. So I'm going to heat up my tool for just a second. And then I'm going to hold this. I'm going to try to hold it so you can see it. Let's see if I can get it up a little high. It's supposed to make it puff up, but we'll see. Well, I think it's starting to do it. I might have had it a little too thick, but... Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I might have to add a little more. Okay, so let me hold it up so you guys can see. See how it kind of made it look like snowballs laying around there? I think I need a little more. Some of the in-between. I want it to be really snowy on this place. So I'm not squeezing it anymore. I just want the snow to be all around everywhere. Okay, let's try a little bit more. See, it's pretty cool. Takes it a bit to dry. Plus my heat tool wasn't really all that warm, so... But you can see it when it starts drying. It really does puff up. It's kind of cool. Ooh, look, I got bubbles now. I think I just had it too thick before. See how it puffs up and looks like little balls of snow? That's super cool. No wonder I bought that. I must have thought it was super cool. All right, so there we go. Now we have snow. Hi, Becky. And that was pretty easy. I might be using this a little more often now. We should keep this out on the desk instead of putting it up in the drawer. I'll forget it's in there. Although I won't lie, the lid's a little tough to get on there. But I'm leaving it out on my desk so I can see it from now on. And then I thought I would pop up the little deer. He's cute. I like him. Let's see. I need to pop up, so I need my Sweet Pops. Okay. So here we go. I'm gonna put this one here. I think this will be really cute. And then we'll work on the potion bottle one. That will be awesome. Because we're going to actually color that one, because I don't have that one ready yet. I have my tape scissors right here, indicated with the tape on them, so I can cut smaller pieces of my Sweet Pop for using on this card. So you can get a lot out of these Sweet Pops if you cut them down to the size that you want them to be. I want to put one on his little antlers. I think if nothing else, these little memory decks cards are going to be super fun to make. I'm going to cut this one more time. I don't want a large piece on this other ear because I don't want it to stick out. So I'm going to just stick a little piece in there. And then I need one over here. I think that one's going to be too big, so I'm just going to cut it down the center. Hi, Becky. And I'm going to place this on there. And then I usually flip over my item and I press on it to see if there's any areas that like sink down in, to see if I need another pop on it or not. And he seems to be pretty sturdy, so I'm going to go with what we got. Alright, so we're going to peel these off, because these are still good ones. I don't usually put any of my gems on these just because they're, I don't know how fat I want them to be. But I have some teeny tiny little gemstones that I might put on the trees to make them kind of look like Christmas trees. Okay, I got to get him lined up exactly where I want. I don't want to block this because that's how the card goes into the box. Isn't he just the cutest? This worked out really good. It did bend the card just a little bit when I heated it up, but it's totally good. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is, I bought these pens recently. They're jelly roll pens that I thought maybe I could color over the oxide. So let me test it and see if I could just do some little Christmas bulbs on there. It doesn't write, it gets jammed. I mean, it doesn't like writing over the oxide ink. So I'm not going to do that. I don't want to mess that up. So what I'm going to use is, I have some Nuvo drops. So I'm going to pull my Nuvo drops. I have a whole wall of Nuvo drops, which is kind of amazing. And I don't use them as often as I should. So I have I'm looking for a red, and then I have red and clear and green. I kind of like the red and green glitter, so I think I'm going to go with that. I'll show you what I got. What I got. So I have these. I did use this one a little bit, but I haven't used this one. I really have to shake these up because they haven't been used in a while. I need one of those nail polish shakers to shake these up for me. Or Dale. Just kidding. Okay. So I have green and red, and we're going to test it out on the little paper just to make sure it doesn't come out too fast or mess anything up. So this is going to be my, I told you I haven't used them in a long time. They're kind of jammed up, so I'm going to have to use this pin and see if they'll. So that's why I like my Barely Art glue. It never does that. Okay. All right. Well, there we go. It's working. It's going to be pretty big drops, though. Let's see if the red will work. Oh, there we go. And then it'll dry and it'll be super cute. So maybe by the time we get done coloring the potion bottles, all the dots will be dry. So I'm going to use the red, and I'm just going to go in there and put a few little dots on the Christmas trees so it looks like you have a little decoration going on. So that's all I'm doing with this. Putting them in a little bit of different places so it's not in the same on every tree. I decided to use just the red because we have enough green with the Tim Holtz green pine needle stuff. So I'm just going to do decorated red trees. I think these trees came out really good, and all it was oxide inks. I kind of got this one out just a little bit, so I'm just going to push it back in. There we go. Look how cute that is. Oh my gosh. Hi, Diana. Okay, so, or Jim. Could be Jim. It's Jim and Diana. So I decided to use just this one. This one was Ruby Slippers. So when it dries, it'll be very red and sparkly. The good thing about the Nuvo drops is they'll stay in that shape, that round shape, like Christmas bulbs. So look, the snow looks really cool. The Christmas trees look really cool. And then my little Rudolph is on there, which is awesome. So I'm going to set him aside and let him dry. And we're going to start working on October. I know I'm going backwards, but those were the ones I wanted to show you guys, the potion bottles, since I don't think I colored them. They sold out so fast the last time we had them in stock. So I turned the air up today. If you want to put it back down, you can. So I want to do, I know I'm going backwards, but I really wanted to do the potion bottles with you guys, or magic potion, I mean, with you guys, because I don't think I got to color them before, so why not color them now? And I want to put them on this card right here, so I'll probably do a little bit of oxiding with that one as well. So I already placed them on here, and I used a scrap piece of paper that I had, a scrap piece of Sweet Sentiment paper. I'm just going to put my hand all over this just to prep the stamp because I'm not sure if I use this one yet or not. It's kind of new. Just came back in stock. It's super fun. And you can use this for mixed media projects or anything you want, really. It doesn't have to be just Halloween. But I thought it would be perfect. So I placed them all on here, so when we color, we're going to have to move the paper around. Ta-da! Amazing. I will clean those off and put those away after the live. I don't want you to have to watch me do that. So here's what we have. Once I color them, we can cut them out with the dies. So you won't have to watch me fussy cut that either. So that's awesome. Because we have the dies for all of these. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the dies out right now. So this is that bottle. And it even has dies for those little coffee beans and the frogs and everything. And there's the little skull. Okay. So we can set those aside. We'll cut those out afterwards. I did actually choose some marker colors already, which you guys probably saw off to the side. I want to do this bottle with green potion stuff in it, and I want to do this one with red, like a broken heart, kinda. And then I chose some skull colors and some colors for these. I'm probably just going to make them black, so that goes with Halloween. That's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. Any questions? Any suggestions? Any thoughts? Are you guys excited to get yourself some Memory Dex cards to play around with? I think it'll be super fun. Okay. So we're going to start with this bottle first, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this BG11 and BG000, and I'm just going to make the bottle effect on the outside of it. So I want real close to it. I want to put, just to give that impression, even though we have this black line, I still want to give the impression that this is a bottle. And when I do that, I generally use a B or a BG, and then I'll use the colorless blender to blend it out, or I'll use the C00, because both of those will blend it out. The C00 will make it look really light. So that already gives it just a little bit. I think that light is too bright. Can you turn that? Does that light turn down a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to turn the light down a little bit because I think you're getting quite a reflection on there. Better. That's good. Okay, I'm going to zoom in just a tad bit more so you can see it. So now you can see that there is a light blue around it. I'm going to then take the BG000, and I'm going to just go over that and extend out just a little bit further. Now we are going to go in with the green and color, but we're going to leave a little bit of space between the whatever's in the bottle and the side of the bottle to signify that there is liquid inside the bottle. Now at the bottom we'll probably go over that area, but the sides, frozen. Yep. I could make it, you know, anything. Huh?
A bottle of Let It Go.
bottle will let it go, Dale says. But there we go. That kind of will give us that representation of a bottle or a jar. This one particularly looks empty. And I'm going to use my 000. I'm going to use my colorless blender now. And I'm just going to blend out that like line to kind of smooth it out. I'm not going over all the blue, but I want to blend that line out. Now we are going to have to allow this bottle to dry. So we'll move on to a different image while we allow this to dry, because if we try to color right now up against this colorless blender, the color will just seep right into the colorless blender and it'll mess up all this work I just did. I don't want that to happen. So we're just building the base of the jar right now. This one colorless blender, one cap, that cap doesn't work on this end. It's very frustrating when I put it on there wrong. Okay, and now I'm going to move on to this little skull guy right here. We might as well get him out of the way. Okay, so when I colored him, I'm going to use, let me take my green out of here. We'll put them back in when it's time to color the green. We're going to use a very small amount of E44. We're going to use E42. We're going to use 41 and 51. And we're going to use W0 for his teeth. And I'm going to give him a gold tooth. So we're going to use Y26 for his gold tooth. Like he had a gold tooth when he was alive. So we're going to start with E44. Solid wood, nicely put together. Oh, that's awesome. So I guess you can buy them. You can buy them on Etsy. So I'm going to put some shadowing right here in these side parts here. And underneath here, kind of to make his face look a little sunken in, because, you know, after all, he's a goner. I'm going to put just a tad bit along the top, just because we want his head to appear rounded. I don't use a whole lot of this one, but I think for the depth in these parts on his face, I think it's important. I'll move that to that side so I can stop reaching across the screen. Taking it out of focus and putting it back in focus, that's frustrating. So I'm going to kind of put just a little bit over his eyes. We'll get to that. It'll blend out and you probably won't be able to see it, but for me, I kind of like it. I'm going to put a little bit under his eyes. Make him look a little sunken. Over there and right above his lip area. But you don't need a whole lot when you're doing these, for sure. It's a very, very small area. I'm going to use E41. Next. Kind of start blending that out. And then we're going to use 51. This little guy is pretty quick to do him. Sometimes I go back in with the darkest shade and kind of deepen up those shadow areas, but I'm blending this out, but I'm doing it with a really light hand because I want to leave that shadowy area going on. I'm going to go back in with 42. and put a little bit more depth in here. And a little bit more down here. Okay. And then for W0 is what I'm going to put on his teeth. Want them to look kind of dirty. And then Y26, I'm going to do one gold tooth here in the front. He's going to have one little gold tooth going on there. So I'll show him. Got one gold tooth in the front. Okay, so I knew that would go by pretty fast. So once we got that done, I was good on that. Now I'm going to use some of these colors, like for the cork in the top. So I guess I shouldn't have taken them out already, because now I got to put them back. But instead of using E51, I'm going to use E31 because it's a different shade and it will help make a different shade for me. So I'm going to make this little, I'm going to do this little cork up here in the top. So I'm going to take the darkest color. I'm going to go over these dots. Now I know they're there and I know they're black, but when you go over them with the brown, it will help in the blending. So I kind of go over them just to give that extra bit of brown in that. And then E42, just going to start blending up from there and then along the top. I want this to kind of look like a little cork top. I'm going to do 31 before I do 41 because I think 31 has a darker shade to it. Left a very small white line in the center of that, and that's what I'm going to use the 41 for. It looks like it blends really well, but I need a little bit more depth back in it, so I'm going to go with the E44. I'm going to go back in here and deepen this up just a little bit again. You can't really tell so much right now, but you will be able to tell when I get the red in there. A little bit more shadow down here, so I'm using the 31. Pretty little suckers. And the 42. Just kind of get that shadow area going down there. Alright, so my E41, usually when you start adding the darks back in, you got to hit it with the lights as well. And I washed out the one little mark. So I had to fix that. Okay, so now we have the skull and the cork. I want to give a little bit of design to the bottom here instead of making the whole thing black. So I've decided that I'm going to use the following colors. Y26, YR23, and Y28. This will give it a little bit of a gold look, which is what I'm going for. This one is actually a gold, says gold on it. Okay, so I'm going to start over here in the corners. And I'm going to do it just on these little small areas right here. I still got you here with me? Got quiet. I'm not sure if that means you guys are just watching or I lost video feed or what not. So I'm going to extend out with this Y26. And then when I add this YR23, it's going to brighten it up just a little bit. Hi, Sonia. So YR23. I really want this to appear gold. So I'm just going to blend those together. That light is really bright. It will look more gold when we color the rest of it, I promise. But for now, we're just getting a little bit out of the way. We could do the same thing with this one, but I don't think I want to, so I'm skipping it. To feed the dogs. Okay, I hear ya. I use those. Okay, so let's work on first the black here, and then we'll do the red heart, and then we'll go back to this one. I want to go ahead and do that. So for the black tones, I chose the T's because they're not really all that cool and they're not really all that warm. They're kind of give you a different look to them, and I think I'm going to really like that. So we'll see. Okay, so I have T1, T8, T7, 6, and 5. So I skipped 9.
7, 8, 9.
Dale said because 7, 8, 9. No, I skipped 9 because I felt like 9 was really close to 8, and it would be too much dark on this little bitty space. So I definitely want the really dark separation between the gold and the black area. And then where it dips in right here, I'm just emphasizing that with this color. And then I also want to put like a barrier of black right here where the red's going to be. It's going to be really dark when I get done doing it, but I'm going to do the same thing down here. Putting this barrier here. So you have to hold your marker upright really well so you can get that fine line. So it can be a really tiny line. Hi, Rosemary. All right, so T8 is the next one. These are the toner colors. You could use W's or C's or whatever color you like best, but I wanted to use the tonal grays for this. So I'm just extending out from where my last color was. These are going to be pretty dark. I want it to be that way. It is. I am doing it for the Halloween card, so. I'm going to use T7 next. I did fill these not too long ago, so they're pretty full, but I'm not going to have them on the paper very long, so I didn't take the other cap off, which could be dangerous, but I'm taking the chance. Yes, I am. T6 is next. This is where I'm going to start building in a whole lot, and T5 will be last. For the highlight. And it's going to push around the color a little bit, so we have to be a little cautious with the T5. So I'm just barely touching it, just giving it that little once over to give a really good blend. So it looks like this. And it's rough. I like it that way. It shows a little bit of shine to it. It makes me happy. So that's the way I'm going to do that one. I'm going to go ahead and do these two as well because I want to use the same colors on them. So going back to T10, and T10, I want to do this whole area with the T10. I want this to be a solid black separation here. And then down below, we'll just put a little bit of this one. I'm going to do this one at the same time. So I want to do most of my depth right here, where it's going into the jar. So as you can see while I'm coloring these bottles that they're a pretty quick color. So if you need some quick Halloween cards, these are it. If you need a quick like birthday card, you could do a little perfume bottle. You could also stamp any other stamp that you have like inside to decorate it up. Make it look like it's the outside of the bottle. It's kind of up to you. There's so much versatility with these bottles. I think that's why I like them so much. T7 is the middle color. So I'll use that one a little bit more liberally. Again, I'm barely touching. It's very, very light. Go around the top. And then a little bit around the bottom. I feel like I have a really bright light on this. Trying to tone that down just a little bit because I feel like it's really obnoxious on my card. I don't know. You guys tell me if that's better or worse. But I feel like the light is so bright, it's hard for you to see what I'm doing. T6 is next. Let me know if you need me to put those lights back on what I'm doing. Just kind of blending that out, leaving a little white space for the last color. And we're going to do the same thing we did the last time. We're going to touch it really lightly and in brush strokes, so it's not a smooth blend. It's just a very, very light color on there to keep that lighter than the rest. I think that is really helpful. Okay, so we're done with the black. Now we're going to get busy, I think, on the red first. Now we're going to do this bottle edge to edge because I want it to look like a heart. I want it to look completely full and I want it to look like a heart, especially since we have a crack in the heart all the way up here. So I'm just going to make the whole thing red. So almost like the outside of the bottle is red and you can't see through it. Where this one, you're going to be able to see through it. It's like a clear jar. This one is more like a bottle you can't see through. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it. R89 is really dark red, so I'm going to put some up here where the cork is. And then I'm going to go along these little cracks with this dark, dark shade. I want these cracks to appear to be cracks in the glass. Notice how I'm doing some little squiggly along them because I really want to show that it's not a straight line. Some of this will get washed out as we color the image, but some of it I want to stay so it looks really dark. And you could add more if you wanted, extend out your cracks, or you know, however you wanted to do it. It's your bottle, so you can do it however you want. But I'm not doing this with straight. I'm just kind of being really squiggly, and I want this so it's not perfection at all. So many things you could do with this. And then I'm going to put some depth down here real close to the bottom of the jar, like it's thicker down at the bottom. Like that. And then the next color I chose, this was R89. The next one I chose was R39. It's still very deep, very dark. So just gonna extend out a little bit from where I put the dark, the other dark color. I don't want to touch too much because I want to keep that really deep depth there. So I probably won't touch all of the lines, just some of them. And then when I come to the next colors, that's where I'll blend out. But I want it to really show deep, deep, deep cuts right there. I am going to do a little bit around that side of the jar. And then I'm going to go down here. I'm going to extend out from where I put this deepest, darkest color at the bottom. You like it? And it's really easy. I put all the lines in there for you when I drew it, so you don't have to make your own cracks on the glass. Just play with them. The middle color is my favorite color. It's the R46. So this one is going to take the full shape, and we're going to use it a lot more than any of the other colors, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so starting up here. Remember, we do not want to go outside the lines, because when we go outside the lines, red is too hard to try to get it back in there. So notice I'm extending out quite a bit further from where the cracks are, but I'm not spending a whole lot of time blending that. I want to leave that really dark color on there. So when I come out, I'm touching it, but not for very long. I don't want to wash it out. We do need this part. Starting to come together. I'm loving it. One time I colored this zombie, and I did all of his like cuts and bruises and stuff with colors like this, and it came out super cool. I'm going to extend a little bit further on this side just because that side has more cracks, so this side would be a little more solid, I think. Okay, we have two more colors. We have R27 and then R17, and both of those are going to be significantly lighter. So I'm just going to leave very small areas for the last the last color, because it's going to be even lighter than this one, and I kind of want to leave most of it dark. So I'm just leaving very small areas for the lightest color to blend out. And there's no rhyme or reason to exactly where those colors are. I'm just winging it wherever I feel like the colors should be a little bit lighter. So there we go. That's what we have so far. And now we're going to finish that off with R17. And this is going to be a really light touch as well, because I really want to leave that. I want it to blend a little, but I want to leave that very light area in there. It's a little hard to see on camera, but you can see it in real life. And if you can't, we can come back in with one more color and lighten it up a little bit. I can see it. I don't think you can see it on camera as well. So if yours gets too dark and you really want to blend it out with a lighter color, let me see if I can shadow it. Nope. You guys can't see it on camera as well as I can. So what we're going to do is we're going to take R43, because it will really lighten the areas. And we're just going to go over the areas where I wanted it to be kind of light. And if you just go over it a couple of times, it'll move the color. So you saw how that little corner lightened up? I want to kind of lighten up some in here. Don't do it too much. Just do it a little bit and then stop and wait for it to dry. It's really hard to see on camera. That's very unfortunate. But if you've ever colored like a cherry, I always use this R43 to kind of change. You can kind of see it on this one. Right there. It blends the color, but also moves it around so it looks significantly lighter. And we can put some white on it if we want with the gel pen. I kind of like it this way better. I think it's really hard to see. Okay, I just did the light where you could really see it, just for a brief moment. I don't know, it's hard to see, but it's super cool. Maybe you'll be able to see it when we cut it out and it doesn't have all this white around it. But you can kind of see it when I hit the light the right way. I don't know, it's hard to see. It looks great in real life though. Not gonna lie. In fact, some of it looks even a little bit too light. So I'm gonna go in with the with this one. I'm gonna tip to tip these two. So this is R43 and R17, just to get that blend a little more smooth, but not too dark. Excellent. I love it. I was super happy with how it came out. So that was R43 and this was R17, and that takes care of my red bottle. Now this one's going to be a little bit more challenging because we don't want to touch the side of the jar. Hold on, I'm trying to move this light just a little bit. I'm really not happy with my lighting tonight. I don't know what the deal is, but I'm really not happy with my lighting. Okay, let's do the green. So I chose YG67, YG17, YG23, YG25, and YG21. Now I'm going to show you why I chose to do 23 before 25. So let's swatch it so you can see the difference. So this is 67, YG 67. This is YG 17. See how they blend really well together? This is YG 23, which gets way lighter. And this is YG 25. So it's a little bit darker, but it's more of a, it's a slightly different tone than this one. And I want that tone because it helps to move into YG 21. If YG 21 blends better with this one than this one. So that's why I chose to change up these. I did not go in order. YG 23 and then 25 and then 21. So make sure that you swatch it out so you can decide which way you want to do the colors. So your choice, you can choose. It's your design. Okay, so what we're gonna do, this is the sensitive. Well, you know what? I always color dark to light, but let's start this light first. Kind of like we did with the skin tone, just so we can mark kind of where we want this bottle to have liquid. So I kind of want the liquid to go like it's sloshing around a little bit in here. So I don't want it to go all the way up the bottle. And that way we have a little bit of room to play with. So I'm just kind of basically drawing in where I want this liquid to go. It looks a little more realistic if you have that, that color on the outside of the bottle. But you'll see what I mean as we go on. So I kind of want to make that a little bit of a deeper dip right there. And then I may come around like really lightly, like right here, so you can see that the juice is sloshing around in there. So that first one is just giving me the base of what color I want this to be. Now I'm going to go in with the YG 67 and just go along the edge and get that form to be really smooth. So I have to use the tip of my marker, so I have to hold my marker upright when I'm doing it. You want to do it very lightly and very gently so you can get it really rounded there. Always start a little further in than you want it to be, so if you touch it in the wrong spot like I just did a second ago, you can fix it. So this is just putting that very deep, and remember I told you I wanted that deep to go all the way down against the jar. You don't have to if you don't want to. It's your jar. You can do it the way you want. And however you have to move this bottle around to get your best color, you can do. Or whatever kind of shape you want to do. I want mine to kind of be sloshing around here a little bit. So remember, we're going to use some other colors in here. So we're just building this out to begin with. We need the base. We'll probably come back in with this dark color at the end and reinforce the dark color, but for now, we want to get that basic shape that we want. The water's not going to come to a point and be sharp, so we need some rounded in there where we want that stuff to meet up. I'm also going to put just a little bit more along this base right here. the underside of this liquid would be darker for sure. We just want to be careful that we're going above the black and not into the black, because we don't want to drag the black into our page. There we go. So now we're starting to build in some color. I think I need just a little bit more on this side to even it out. So what do you guys think so far? Is this helpful? Helpful for you to see how to do the jar. YG17 is next. So now what we're going to do is start building on what we've already put in there. So we're going to start coloring right up next to where that darkest color is and extend out a little bit. So the first time I go by it, I'm going to just smooth that out. And the second time, I'm going to start building in a little bit of shape to it. Interesting, interesting. Learning a little bit, that's awesome. That's the way I want. That's the way I want it to be. I want you guys to learn a little bit of technique going on there. You just have to play with it a little bit, practice and play with it to get it what you want. And now we're going to go from this way into here to start building that color in here. I am going to go over that a second time since you can actually see that line a little bit. I'm going to come along here just because I want there to be a little bit more at the top. So YG23 is the one I chose for the true color. It's the one that's a little bit lighter than the other one. So here we go. We're going to start building this in there. I'm going to be extending out from here. I'm not going all the way back to the first color because I don't want to wash it out. I'm going to do this side before I go back in and fix. So I'm going to come back in here. I'm just going to touch that area where the two colors met. It's okay if this gets a little bumpy or a little bit of a feeling to it. See how it kind of looks. It's going to look more like a liquid that way. There we go. My light is beating me up tonight. This one is YG25. So again, these were pretty close colors, but not exactly. So I'm kind of building that in. This one's a little more olive, a little less of the fluorescent-ish green. So I'm kind of going over that whole thing and extending out. And then I'll go in where the colors are, meet up. I'm okay if there's bumps and yeah. I'm okay if there's bumps or lumps or spots or whatever in this because it's a potion. So I don't really care. The last one is YG21. And this is where we're going to start building this out. It is going to lighten the other areas, so if we need to go back in, we can. But first, I'm going to fill this in, and then we'll see where we're going to go from there. So I'm going to fill that in, and then I'm going to focus a little bit on this because I want this to be a little bit lighter. I'm going to hit over this one more time, and then I'm going to do tip to tip on the last two. Or maybe not. I kind of like how that looks. So I think if I'm going to do the tip to tip, I want to do it with the YG23 because, again, I had said it was a lighter color. And we're just going to smooth out any real transitions between the two, so it's not a whole lot of like focusing on anything or leaving your pen on the paper too long or anything like that. It's just to make sure that these look good together and to darken that center part just a teeny bit and just around these edges here. Okay. So I like the way that looks. I feel like it needs maybe a little bit of a darker edge to it. The part that's up against the bottle, because we kind of washed that out a little bit. So I want to deepen some of this. So I'm going to come back in. I'm not going to go in with the YG67 yet. I'm going to go back in with the YG17. And I'm just going to build this out a little bit. I'm going to touch really, really lightly. Because I really want to give the appearance that this is rounded. So I'm going to go in there. Right here. To deepen that up a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And then I want this part right here to be a little darker as well. Now in order to make that look really smooth, I got to go back in with YG25 just to blend that out really quickly. And I'm only going to hit that really lightly one time because I don't want to lighten that color at all. I want to keep that depth. And I'm going to use the YG21 one more time over this area right here. Just to keep that really light color. I'm pretty happy with the way that looks. I like it. It's a little bit hard to see the blue. There we go. That's better. The blue I put around the bottle. So now the blue looks very bright. So I'm going to choose that C00 that we talked about earlier. And I'm just going to do it across the bottle like this. Just to kind of make the bottle look a little bit not white. I'm going to be very careful when I go around this area right here. Because I do not want to pull that green out at all. I like it. I'm happy. Now, if you wanted to, you could put bubbles in the bottle. You could make it bubble out if we wanted to. So if you guys want me to show you that, I can certainly show you that. Let's do a few bubbles just so we can show. So you have to use your colorless blender when you do this. Since we're doing this for Halloween, we might as well have some bubbles in there. So I don't want to have a whole bunch, but I do want to have a few. So I'm going to shake it just a second. I want it to make sure that it's dry enough. Now, could we just put like some drops of something on it? Yeah, we could. But this is more interesting. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take the colorless blender and in a circular motion, we're just going to go wherever we want that dot to be. Did you see that pop up? We're going to give it a second. We're just going to do that. Then we're going to let it dry. We're going to do it one more time after that, just to make sure that the color doesn't move back into that spot. So it kind of looks like we're starting to bubble up over here. Gonna put one here. And then we're gonna do a few bubbles up in here, just to show that it's kind of bubbling a little. So I'm gonna touch it again. I'm gonna go over the dots that I already did one more time. Make sure that the ink really moves out of them, away from them. And then to re-emphasize them, I'm going to show you how to do that here in just a moment. So you can put as many or as little dots as you want. So you see those bubbles, how it pushed it aside. Now what you do is you take this YG67, which is our darkest shade, and I'm going to hold my pen upright, and I'm going to make a tiny line along the bottom of it. Very tiny. So I'm definitely holding my pen upright. Now I also want to do one here and one here and another one let's do one right here. Okay, so we're starting to show how the bubbles are and where you can see them. So we're going to use the same colors. I'm going to use YG17. This one is lighter, so I'm going to go around the top with this one. It's lighter. Just to kind of start building that in. Some of them I'm not going all the way around. I'm just giving it a little bit more. This tip is not as firm. Probably needs a new nib soon. Wow, you like that, huh? Okay, so YG25 is next. So we're going to start building kind of on that lower section where we put that darkest color now. Just building in a little bit of depth there. Not a lot. We'll need it on this one because these bubbles are going outside of the liquid. And then I'm not going to use the last color, the YG23. I'm just going to use the YG21. And I'm just going to touch lightly in there, leaving a little bit of a white spot as well. We could always go back in with the colorless blender or the white gel pen, whatever kind of floats your boat you could do. You can do this with blue, like bubbles in a water where the fish are and things like that. You can definitely do it in those types of things. Now, some people use a colored pencil like to go over it. See, if I block that light a little, you can really see it. If I take my white gel pen, I'll show you what that looks like because that's super cool as well. If I can find it. I don't know what I did with it. I had it in my hand a few minutes ago. Honey, do you see it? It should be laying right here on my desk, and it's not. Okay, I might have another one. Yep, I have another one. Okay, I'll just pull out another white gel pen. I probably dropped it on the floor. That's typical of me. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to touch the tip of this. Just like a teeny little dot on there. It will really just make it pop just a little bit more. It's not a lot. It doesn't need to be a lot. It's just a teeny tiny bit. And you're going to put it on these as well. Just right at the top where the light would be reflecting. And then they really pop. So honey, if I tape these on, will you run it through my cutter one more time? Okay, so these are pretty much done. I'm going to cut them out so we can put them on our background. I think they're super cool, and I think they're going to look even better when we put them on this background. So I'm just kind of laying my dies on there. So we can cut them all at the same time because I stamped them far enough apart, which is great. So I'm going to take this washi tape that I have. Once I have it where I want it, just going to lay the washi tape over it. And then this one, gonna hold it right there. All right, so hubby's over there working on my daughter's Halloween costume, so I'm gonna get up and cut it myself because he's super busy right now. It'll only take me a second, so hold tight. I always have my machine set up so I don't have to, just have to run it through there. I'm sure you guys can hear the cutter. Nothing's better than an electric cutter. As long as you use all the plates you need, all should be good. So here we go. I just pulled them off. And then I'm just going to lift them off of here. I'm going to be really gentle with this washi tape just to make sure it comes off. It's feeling a little weakened here. So I'm just going to pull it gently because I don't want it to tear my paper. It doesn't usually, but I don't want to take any chances because I worked hard on these. So I'm just going to pull it off like this, slow and steady. And we have one bottle. Yay, San Diego just won again. Okay, so there's my first bottle. Then I have this little guy. I end up with a lot of washi tape all over my hands when I get done. Are you watching football? Is it football season? You'd be asking me. We don't watch sports in my house, so I don't know. There's that bottle and this bottle, and then we have our little skeleton with the gold tooth. And I'll put those away after the live. Okay, so then we have this October one right here. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit because I want you guys to be able to see what I'm working on next. Okay, so my idea, your attention was split? No worries at all. So my idea was I want to put this potion bottle on here, but I need a background. So I'm thinking black or gray. I want this jar in front. Anybody know why I want this jar in front of this jar? I wonder if you guys would know the answer to that. And then I want this little skeleton head up here. Baseball. Ah, yes, I see. So this jar, we made it clear so you could see through the jar, depending on what you put in the jar. Well, if we put this one on top, then we should have done some red underneath there so you could see the jar through it. But since this one we did all red and it's not see-through, it needs to be on top.
Purple radiating out and fading to black.
What? Purple? You think my background should be purple and black?
Purple fading out to black.
Well, can you get my black up there? Black soot. I need black soot, and I don't know if I want to do purple with that. It might not look good with the red, but
Villainous.
oh, villainous. I love villainous. You can pull that one out. I think I just pulled the villainous purple thingy. And then black soot. Let me find my black soot. Bear with me a second. Yes, I have brushes. I have brushes for each of my colors. So this is the black soot color. There's the brush. So I do have brushes. I need to zoom out a little more because I'm losing some space here. Okay. So this is my black soot. You can tell my my colors look jacked because I used to put the Velcro dot on the bottom where I had the little brush that I used, and I'd stack them on top, and then all the colors got on top of it. That was before I bought this one. So this one looks great. This one looks bleh. This is the villainous and this is the black soot, and we're gonna mix those two colors on this card. So I'm going to start with this one, with villainous, which I know is very wet. So I'm going to just touch the inside of my lid real quick, and I'm going to test it out on this one to see how dark it is.
Yeah, just fade it out a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you can go darker.
Okay. So I don't know what my husband has in mind, but I'm going to touch very, very lightly because I don't want to leave a whole lot of spots on there. So I need to do my brushing very, very lightly. But it's okay if I get spots because it'll make it look textured, just super great. It kind of look like it's doing some weird stuff. Like a potion-y. Look at how eerie that looks. I kind of like that. Just going to put a little off on the sides, and then we're going to come in with black soot. Now, if we have to, we may have to go back in with villainous, but we'll see. Okay, so my black soot is low on juice, for sure. Clearly, I use my oxides a lot. Okay, so we're good on that. So I'm going to come in with the black from the side, a little bit dark, and then lighter pressure as I go into the purple. So much darker on the edge, and then lighter as I go into the purple. Kind of get me a really good blend on it. Hi, Marisol. So again, I want the darker edges. So I'm going to work pretty good on those edges. You can hear my drink sloshing around. I want to give them dark, dark, dark edges. And then I'm going to kind of leave a little bit of a white there because I want to do it a little bit more purple in here. But I want these bottoms to be pretty black. I've learned that the harder pressure you use with your brush, the harder it is to blend it out. The lighter you hold your brush, the easier it is. Sounds weird, but it's true. I've been learning that as I've been going. It makes me want to push really hard, like, oh, I have to push down really hard to get that black on there, but you really don't. The lighter you push, the better it blends. I do have a black ink refill, which I'm going to have to use. And I don't really want to go over the October too much. I just want this whole area right here to be, but I'm not going to do this part. That's just a personal preference. I could do it, I just don't want to. I just want it to look cloudy and smoky. So I'm going to start using a napkin now to hold on to it because I don't want to get fingerprints all over the place. I'm going to touch very lightly with this one because this villainous is going to be really dark purple. I want to darken it up just a little bit. I like it looking like this. It's kind of neat. I don't want it to look smooth. I want it to look kind of splotchy and sort of cloudy and interesting. So I kind of like this. Let's see what it looks like once I put my bottles on there. So I'm going to want this bottle here. I like it. You guys like it? I want to put this one in front of that one, but not too far because I really want to still see the design I put on there.
If you have a piece of dark brown paper, you can cut a strip and put it across so it looks like a shelf.
Yeah, I could. Or I could just make it way darker down there with the black. I think I'm going to deepen this so it looks a little more like a shelf. So I'm going to keep going over this black area to make it really, really dark. I want it significantly darker at the bottom. So I'm going to keep doing it until I get it where I want it. You can hear my drink sloshing around in my cup while I'm rubbing it on this paper. That's my big red I was drinking. I like that better. Let's put these on there again and see how that looks. I think it's going to look better like this. Yes, much better like that. I agree. I think I'm going to pop up this little guy. I think I have a Stampin' Up! Dot that's exactly the right size for this little guy. I like this little skull. I'm going to glue this on. This is so fun. This is like the project that you just keep getting to create with. You create the original memory decks and then you just get to keep going and going and going. It's awesome. And you can really see those bubbles in there. See it? Okay, I'm going to use my espresso first to just press it on there, and then I'm going to do, I don't want to rub it because it's on the other side, so I'm just going to rub it on this side, flip it back over. That looks good. And I think I might bump this bottle up as well. I just kind of feel like it needs a little dimension since it's in front of the other bottle. So I am going to do it. So flip it over, make sure there's no parts that feel too flimsy. Kind of feels a little flimsy in here. I think I have like a half a circle that I can just use to put it inside there so it'll be strong. These Stampin' Up! Dimensionals are thinner than the Sweet Pops we have here. So I usually use my Sweet Pops because when I want it popped up, I want it really popped up. But in this case, because it is a memory deck, I don't want it to be too popped up. So I'm going to place this one right here. And there we go. Isn't that awesome? I love it. So now I have my December, which is almost dry. I need to let it dry just a little bit longer, but you can see the red will sparkle more once it completely dries. But you can see all the snow. Look at how cool this snow is. That's super cool. I really like it. I think the only thing I would do if I did anything is I might go in here and touch this a little bit with the white in the little places that I kind of want to show a little bit of dimension on these little white areas here. Just a teeny bit so it looks like the bottle's round. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love both of them. So now I'll be able to write down the people who get Halloween cards and the people who get Christmas cards. Super awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you're feeling like you want to do one too. That would be awesome. Jamie has a video on how to make the memory decks box, which is like this one she made for me. So she has a video on YouTube. You can learn how to make that. These are they just pop right in there. So on these two dowels that she put in there, you just pop it in there. And then it's in there. It's perfect. And it's so simple. How cute is that? So stinking cute. I can't wait. Now we have to come up with January, February, March, April, May, June, July. We have so many to do. It will be so fun though. These look really good. I really like these. But you know, you could do this very same pattern with a card. And same with this one. You could put that design on a card, put a sentiment at the bottom, and you're done. Same thing with this one. So I hope it gave you some ideas. I hope you learned a lot. I really appreciate you stopping by. I have to come up with a whole new idea for tomorrow night. So tomorrow night will be a surprise. Be ready for anything goes. You never know what I'm going to come up with next. So, any ideas, let me know. Otherwise, I'll come up with something and we'll have some fun tomorrow night too. A different stamp set. And by the way, don't forget Saturday. Saturday is the next release. So next week, we get to do all new stuff. And I think you guys are going to like this release. It's amazing. So be on the lookout for some potential sneak peeks and a video on release day where we show you all of this stuff that's being released. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. I'll see you guys tomorrow night, same time, 9:30 Central. So have a great evening. Bye, ladies and gentlemen, if there's any gentlemen watching. Thank you.